Good morning. My name is Lisa Thompson. I'm the women's pastor at our Granite Bay campus. Well, we have been in the midst of 40 days of prayer at Bayside, and maybe you're just joining us today, and I want to welcome you and also just remind all of us that this is going to move beyond 40 days as we're developing practices and building prayer into our life and our day-to-day, making prayer our first resort and not our last resort. Always my best days for sure. But this week we've been particularly talking about waiting on God. You know, those waiting on God prayers. And I don't know about you, but sometimes for me, those are the hardest places for me in my faith, to be waiting on God to answer. Maybe you have some things going on in your life where you're waiting on God to answer in your marriage or in your finances or with that particular health challenge or a reconciled relationship. Honestly, these have been some of the more challenging seasons of my faith where I'm waiting on God to answer a prayer. Like, I love a good God go. I get when God says no, I can accept that. And I even know that there's areas where I need to grow and God is developing my faith during that season. But the slow part, the waiting on God part, man, that is really hard. I was in a season recently where I was waiting on God for about 15 months to answer a prayer that I was praying every day. I was just looking, Lord, is this the right direction? Is it here or is it there? And it was like crickets from God. I did not hear anything. And in fact, it almost felt that God was being indifferent to my prayers. And I remember this moment with God where he just gently reminded me, Lisa, you're so focused on an outcome that you're missing my answer. And my answer is right now. That I have something that I am doing for you right now, and you're missing those opportunities because you're so focused on that outcome that you're desiring. And also, there's things that I want to teach you in this season as you grow and depend and learn to trust on me. And ultimately, I want to get you to a place where you can truly say, whatever the outcome, thy will be done, it is well with my soul. And I love this Psalms because I think David does such a great job of showing us what that spiritual walk looks like with God, where we're having to depend and wait on God for an answer. There's so many Psalms that talk about David waiting on God. Psalm 27, Psalm 25, 33, 37, and 40. And there's one in particular that I go to a lot, and that's found in Psalm 62, verse 5. And I'm going to read that right now. For God alone, O my soul, I wait in silence, for my hope is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation, my fortress, I shall not be shaken. On God rests my salvation and my glory. My mighty rock, my refuge is God. I think the key for us in those seasons of waiting on God for that answered prayer is that God cares more about us deepening our relationship with him, that he is the source of our prayers. He doesn't want us outsourcing our prayers for outcomes. He wants to be the source of our prayers, and that he's doing something in the middle of the wait. Heck, most of life is lived in the waiting seasons with God, but he's promising that in that time we have this opportunity where we get to deepen our relationship with God. And David does that. He personalizes while he's waiting on God, he's discovered that God is his refuge, that God is his strength, that God is his rock, his deliverer, his fortress. And because of who God is and how he's come to know him, he can wait patiently for God. And I think that's the key for us, to wait patiently for God, is what we're discovering about God in that season of wait. And so hopefully that encourages you today as it's encouraging me in this season. And by the way, God did finally answer that prayer, and I am so glad that he did not listen to me.